After an unsuccessful Kings challenge from Mike Brown, an after timeout sees Draymond execute a DHO to Klay and elusively cut to the weak side corner. Klay gets it back to Curry and gets a flare from Dante. Simultaneously, Looney's ghosting a screen for Steph. Steph's trapped and finds DiVincenzo, who's popped out to the top of the key after his pin down for Klay. Looney sets the on-ball for Dante, receives the bounce entry on the roll from DiVincenzo, then finds the cutting Dre, who finishes what he started as Len's whistled for the goaltend. Dre gets elbowed in the head by Len in the process. That should have been a goaltend plus the foul. Conversely, then there's the half-court possessions where guys don't seem to be on the same page, like this one, where Dre's confused about which play they're running. Curry rushes into his attack of the on-ball and just throws his kick-out pass into the stands. The majority of the Dubs' offense nowadays is generated out of transition opportunities, ISOs, or pick and rolls, but when they commit to running advanced as hell motion like the executed after timeout play we just looked at, this Steve Kerr system is unstoppable. But more sloppiness out of this next action takes place. JP sends the DHO to GP2, GP2 swings it back to Klay, who gets it to Looney in the post, but GP2 lazily sticks his leg out on his off-ball for Klay, and it's another careless giveaway on the offensive foul. They then turn it over for a consecutive possession after they set up this stagger and pop action for Klay, with Gavon evidently bear-hugging PJ Dozier out of the way. We'll get to the play sets which led Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson to combine for 54 points, but it was and it has been good to see Steve Kerr take accountability both pre-game and post-game, like he's received hate for not doing throughout the season. While giving his blessing for Mike Brown to win Coach of the Year, Kerr said prior to the Sacktown outing that there's zero excuse for his guys letting their guard down over these last two must-win games. Post-game, Kerr wasn't satisfied, saying if the Warriors get into the playoffs, they have to play better than they just did against the Kings, saying they gotta stop the careless turnovers. Albeit against a Kings team that was resting about all of their main pieces, let's get back to the film room on how the Splash Brothers manipulated Sacktown by using their advanced Steve Kerr-bred offensive scheming. In this flare slip, combined with a 21 chase action, instead of getting it back to Steph, Klay hangs onto it, jab steps, and hits the contested triple. A fast break give and go between Steph and Dante gets the chef a typically ridiculous catch and shoot after stopping on a dime. The NBA's leading offensive rebounder in Kevon Looney's gonna do his thing and kick it out to Klay in the corner for Thompson's second triple. This punch split basic action sees Steph elusively cut to the basket instead of pop like the play entails, but after fumbling it under the basket, he's got the wherewithal to instantly go into a kick and relocate action, and Draymond's overhead touch pass finds Steph in the corner. Next play sees the Dubs execute a 5-out 21 dribble action, which has a stagger screen being set for Klay as he relocates from one side of the court to the other, while an on-ball screen is also being set. Great route run by Klay. Mixing it up with a simple ISO, Jordan's gonna drop off the entry to the weak side, fake the flare for Draymond while Klay pump fakes and takes the rookie Keegan Murray to school with a spinning fader in the lane. Stagger screen on the opposite side to maintain Klay's flow, sees him run a perfect off-ball route yet again and get fouled for the and one. That may be your basic stagger, and this may be your basic typical 5-out flare, but it's how these sets are mixed up that makes routes from Thompson like this so easily manipulative. Seems like a rinse and repeat of that basic stagger from earlier right here. Instead, Klay's gonna curl out to the weak side to create the decoy, while Kevon just sets one flare for Steph, who gets it from Dre, explodes off the catch, and spots Looney on the short roll. It's not merely how the Splash Bros plant the proper footing and off-ball routes in the half, but after this clean strip from Klay, just watch how he perfectly fills out the lane in transition, getting the one-handed bounce outlet from Steph, and all in one motion crossing to his left for the runner in traffic. Another flare screen on the weak side sees this time Steph perfectly execute a wide off-ball route, gather the catch with his offhand before embracing the heavy contact of Len while somehow floating it over him. More circusry from the Wizard and Steph right here, as his underrated finishing bags flash for a consecutive possession, as when they're cleared out for him and he's matched up with one of Sacramento's better guard defenders in Davion Mitchell, Steph gallops into the lane and finds his footing for the off-balanced runner. There were plenty of possessions, however, specifically in the second quarter, where the Dubs just lost focus entirely against a team that was almost entirely undermanned. The Kings were resting about everyone, yet were somehow able to pull off a 19-4 run on the Warriors in the second quarter. Having said that, this is now the first time the Warriors are 5 games over 500 this season, and the first time they held an opponent to under 100 points in a game since they won on March 3rd against the Pelicans. And you can't dismiss, the Dubs were without the about-to-return Andrew Wiggins themselves, a key piece to their defense, of course. Speaking of such, bringing GP2 back, a guy who knows this system like the back of his glove, just helps so damn much. As that trade involving Wiseman going to Detroit to get Gary back, while it may not look that great in a few years' time, could have worked to save one of Steph's prime years. This LeBron 2016 Finals-esque chase down from out of nowhere from Gary, where he daps up a fan afterwards, just encapsulates his passionate hustle. Plays like this one also encapsulate that, where he instinctively lays his entire body on the line to outwork 2 Spurs players in the vicinity. It's great to see GP2 healthy after the Portland training staff overplayed him through a core muscle injury. Offensively, Payton II's ability to do a little bit of everything combined with his athleticism and IQ is what makes him special. Gary's utterly effective as acting as the screener in the dunker spot, the cutter in whatever 5-out early offense playset you want to draw up, or he can do a bit of passing and ball handling, acting as a traditional backcourt creator. His favorite thing to do, which he displayed recently and may prove that he's 100%, is fly up for either lob jams or in this case a putback dunk, where he hangs in the air and reaches back for it with 2 hands. The man is just naturally springy and it's entertaining as hell. Amazingly, since April of last year, the Dubs are an undefeated 15-0 when GP2 suits up for at least 16 plus minutes between the regular season and playoffs. That means Steve Kerr has to be playing this man as much as humanly possible. Of course, they don't want to treat him like the Blazers training staff, but the 16 to 25 minute range on a nightly basis in the playoffs seems like it'd be reasonable. GP2 is one of 5 players in Warriors history next to Rick Barry, Steph, Draymond, and Durant to post 15 points and 3 steals simultaneously in a finals game. No one, and I mean simply no one, especially if you're a wing player, wants to see this Dubs defensive unit in a 7-game series. At full strength, you're going to be dealing with Wiggins, Kuminga, GP2, and DiVincenzo. Then you've got an all-time defender in my guy Draymond Green, who can flip a switch on the defensive end whenever he wants and shut down anyone as well. Kevon Looney can flip a switch on the glass, and is this team's most important low-post finisher. With that ability to beast down low with his pro-wrestler-esque frame, Looney's done his fair share of bailing out the Splash Bros and Draymond both recently and throughout his entire career. Loondog may be underrated, but the man just joined legendary company. Against the resting Sacramento Kings, Kevon became one of 5 all-time great centers to record 6+ points, 5+ dimes, 8+ defensive boards, and 5+ offensive boards next to Kevin Garnett, Shaquille O'Neal, Tim Duncan, and Pau Gasol. About to enter the postseason, in your opinion, are the Dubs capable of repeating, and will they? Best answer gets next video shoutout, and the top 5 commenters by June 21st earn a free NBA jersey of their choosing. The 2 shoutouts from my last upload and this one are on your screen, and peace.